CNN's got the poll. The American people say no way.
Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy, and why Donald Trump's net approval rating on that issue is in the positive. Deport all undocumented.
That's amazing. The American people said it. We want to deport all illegal immigrants. So when they come out with the Maryland father hoax, that's what we're calling it, the Maryland father hoax, we call them out. It is the hoax. It is the Maryland father hoax. This is an illegal immigrant, not a Maryland man. And Donald Trump, bless his heart, sent this man home. I'd like to say to Donald Trump, thank you so much for sending Abrego Garcia home, bringing him home. And it is fascinating that Democrats once again find themselves on the back end of an 80-20 issue, much as the same with women and women's sports and men competing in women's sports. Take a look at when you Google search Maryland father, all of these stories, Maryland dad, Maryland father, Maryland man. It's the hoax. This is the hoax. At the same time, yesterday, we saw Rachel Morin's mother call to protect Americans after the daughter's illegal immigrant killer was convicted. It was gut-wrenching. And this woman, Patty Morin, stood up at the podium and spoke to the press and told a horrifying story about how her daughter, a mother of 5, was brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant. And you know what? Many of these prominent cable TV news channels didn't even air what she had to say. Someone who was deeply affected by this. And now I will say it once again. Democrats have put themselves on the back end of an 80-20 issue. Now, Caroline Leavitt spoke out pertaining to Abrego Garcia. Here's what she had to say.
Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the United States of America again. And the United States Supreme Court ruled unanimously that the President of the United States and the Secretary of State could not be compelled to forcibly retrieve this citizen of El Salvador who is currently locked up in a maximum security prison in his home country due to his MS-13 membership. To remind the media and the Democrat Party, MS-13 are among the most vicious and dangerous individuals in this world. They pose a direct threat to the United States, El Salvador, and any other country who maintains basic law and order. MS-13 rapes innocent girls and women, runs sex trafficking operations, murders for sport, and terrorizes law-abiding people. That's why El Salvador President Bukele made it clear this week that he will not be releasing this MS-13 gang member from his prison. I'm
going to go ahead and say I think Democrats have put themselves between a rock and a hard place. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man of the hour, is an MS-13 gang member, according to the arrest reports. 2 different judges. He had an order for deportation. It was upheld. You know all this, but check this out. Bill Malugan says Fox News has obtained the written domestic violence allegations from Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife in 2021, in which she alleges he is a repeat wife beater, and writes, at this point, I am afraid to be close to him. I have multiple photos and videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left me. Typo. In her own handwriting, she alleges that Abrego Garcia punched and scratched her in the eye, leaving her bleeding after throwing her laptop on the floor. She writes that on another day, he got angry, started yelling, and ripped her shirt and shorts off, grabbed her arm, leaving marks. She also writes that in 2 times in 2020, he hit her. In November 2020, he hit me with his work boot. In August 2020, he hit me in the eye, leaving a purple eye. This man does not sound different at all from the stories we've heard about MS-13 gang members, the violence that they perpetrate, and the worst of the worst. Now, Rachel Morin's mother came out, as I mentioned, to explain what had happened to her daughter. Once again, we have a story of an illegal immigrant MS-13 gang member in Maryland. And when allowed to do what he wants, he brutally raped and murdered this mother. It was in Bel Air, Maryland. For those that aren't familiar with this area, it's super nice. It is a beautiful suburb. It's 45 minutes north of Baltimore, relatively close to the water, not super far away, and it's beautiful New England. And this woman, who was, I believe she was out for a run. She had her skull bashed in after this man raped her. So when Donald Trump says, we got a list of deportation orders, we've got courts that say these are gang members who are violent and dangerous, we're going to deport them. As for Kilmar Garcia, the Maryland man hoax, that's what it is, the Maryland man hoax. This guy was arrested with members of MS-13 that the gang units knew were members, admitted members. One of their criminal informants said, yeah, that guy's one of the members. And he's got a rank, Checkeo or whatever, and his name is Chele. He was wearing gang clothes affiliated with MS-13. Here's what happens. This lawyer arguing for him omits the evidence and says that he's actually only found to be a member of MS-13 because he was wearing a Bulls hat. The Democrats have run with it, and they have been lying the entire way. And you know what? It really grinds my gears that people who I've known for a long time have fallen into this trap of the fake news from the corporate press. You know that we're on the right side of history on this one? As CNN already told you, 56% of America say deport every single illegal immigrant. Just do it. Every single one. So it's not a question about this one guy. The American people want it done. But more importantly, we've pulled up the court documents. Look, I'll pull it up for you right here. Here is the Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This is the petition for protection peace order continuation sheet from his wife from May 5th, 2021. We're not making this up. It's right here. So how are they going to come out and say he's a good man who needs money and Trump has sent him to a torture dungeon when it turns out he is a wife-beating MS-13 gang member illegally in this country, known to be affiliating with MS-13 members, identified as one. In fact, he's been accused of human trafficking even. We've got the documents and we want to get to the truth and we bring it up. Take a look at this from the Post-Millennial. Patty Marin, the mother of a Maryland woman brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant, appeared at the White House on Wednesday as a special guest of the press secretary to defend the administration's efforts to deport illegal immigrants. White House press sec Carolyn Levitt invited Marin to speak and use the opportunity to criticize Democrats for their outrage over the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Abrego Garcia was a Salvadoran national. This we know. I went over this. Quote, why should we allow violent criminals that have no conscience at all to murder our mothers, our sisters, our daughters? We are American citizens. We need to protect our families, our borders, our children. This is, I'm assuming her mom's from Maryland too. We are not that far away. Where we are right now is probably an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to Bell. It's 2 hours. It's kind of a ways, right? No, actually I take that back. I think it's probably an hour and a half. And when we were living up in Philly, this was only an hour and a half from us. It's not that far to drive. You could be there in an hour and a half for most people, especially if you're in DC. These people don't live in deep red areas. These are blue areas of Maryland. They're purplish, but they lean Democrat. And when these people start coming out and saying, we don't want to live in fear of violent illegal immigrants, criminals and gang members, and the Democrats say, no, we're not going to meet with you. This Van Hollen guy, the senator from Maryland, he didn't meet with her. He flew down to El Salvador to try and meet with the criminal. You know, it is crazy to me to see them come out and say, there's no evidence this guy's committed any crimes. It's like, there is. His wife said that he mercilessly beat her on more than one occasion. Nope. He's not accused of any crimes. No, he is by his wife. No, I mean, the government's not accused him, right? Because they don't need to. He's an illegal immigrant. They can just deport him. Here's the icing on the cake. People are saying to me, like we had this libertarian on the show. Shout out to Hannah Cox. It was great. Not to drag her or anything, but she said, where's his due process? He's in prison now. And I said, ask El Salvador. This is a Salvadoran man, and Trump, by the grace of his good heart, he brought Kilmar Garcia home to El Salvador. That's his home. And in El Salvador, they said, you are going to prison. Why? In El Salvador, it is a crime to be a member of MS-13. And they made that determination. They said, we find this evidence to be sufficient. You had the dude arrested with MS-13 gang members hanging out with him, identified as an MS-13 gang member, wearing their gang clothes. The only reason they said they couldn't send him back was because he was scared a different gang would murder him. But now that Nayib Bukele's cleaned things up, there's no reason for a withholding order. So it's void. Send him back. Look, man, the data is clear. The American people don't want this. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to keep it short today. And I don't know if I can do the full hour live at noon. I'm losing my voice. Can't work. But I'm going to try and get as much as I can done. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Thank you for hanging out for this morning segment. We got more to come, and we will see you all in a little bit. Follow me. What did I say? X on Instagram at Timcast. There we go.